All right, y'all, look who I have. I have Bob Stromberg standing next to me, comedy legend and master creator, and it is absolutely a privilege. So quick call out here, Kent, Carlos, Elvin, Austin, Stephen, Jeremiah, Fred, Malcolm, I'm forgetting somebody, Shamar, Jameson, Joey coming up here very soon. Where are these other comedians? I feel like I'm missing a couple here.
That's everybody I was thinking of.
It's awesome.
That's
man.
everybody I was thinking of.
I want to spend some time building with this legend. I'm going to shut up and I'm just going to ask him some questions. This is an honor. It's cool to be next to people like this and they actually talk to you, right? Because I've been on the other side where it's kind of awkward, right?
So am I.
Yeah. And so first and foremost, this is a key question I think anybody would ask. How did you get started?
I had a natural inclination to do comedy. I was the kid who I could make my parents laugh, and that delighted me. I could make my friends laugh, like a lot of you could, I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the class clown desperately, but my dad was the principal, so that made it impossible. Couldn't do that. But I always wanted to do this coming out of college. This is, again, I've been doing it for 40 some years. So, but coming out of college in little coffee houses, I was in Chicago at the time, and I was going and I was playing guitar and singing and stuff too, and then telling stories in between. I remember one time my guitar didn't show up where I was supposed to be on the plane, didn't show up. And so I had to do it without, what am I going to do? And I just strung my stories together, and people were laughing, and I went, ooh, I like the way this is. And you guys know what it feels like to go, I like the feeling when this is happening out there in the audience.
Wow. And
at one point, and then I did theater for 10 years or so with a play a comedy I wrote with a couple comedian friends. Yeah. Wow. We did it for 20 years, but 10 years full time. And that really got me realizing this is what I want to do. This is comedy is what it is, because before that time I was doing acting and I was doing music but that theater experience made me realize I want to do comedy. So I've been doing it really in a 40-year career. For the last 15, I've been exclusively doing comedy.
Wow. Yeah. And I recommend that you all, if you have not, look up Bob Stromberg, check his stuff out. You are absolutely going to be stooped over, loving it. Phenomenal in his narrative and how he creates story and brings the humor out of story. And tell us this, for young, hungry comedians and entertainers and MCs, we work with those back home too. What are some of the things we need to know? What are some of the hard, tough, important things that we need to know?
Well, you need to know that it's very likely always going to be tough. Yeah. And even when you think, you look at somebody else, you think, I want to be where he is, or I want to be where she is. Yeah. But you ought not think that, because you don't know what their life is like. Yeah. And you don't know the pressures they have on them when they get to a certain level. And you also don't know that maybe things aren't quite as good as they appear to be. They get a big HBO special or a big thing on TV or whatever. You think, man, if I could only do that, I'd be all set. No, you wouldn't. You're probably always going to have to work hard the way you are right now. I'm 66 years old. I've never had a job. I've been a full-time, self-employed entertainer, performer, speaker, MC, comedian for 43 years now. Wow. Full-time doing this, never done anything else, never had an employer. I thought when I got to be this age at 66, I'm not going to have to be wondering if the phone's going to ring. I'm not going to have to I'm not going to have to still be creating. I'll have all this stuff. I'll be done. I can just do it. It'll be easy. Yeah. Not true. It never ends. It will never stop. And that's a wonderful thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. So good. And that the feeling, many of you, probably all of you know the feeling of finding a new piece that you've written where you go, oh, that is so great. Yeah. That excitement never ends. Never ends. So I'm an old guy now, and I'll go out and something will happen spontaneous on stage, and it'll be huge, and I'll get a big laugh, and right on stage, that other part of my mind that's going separate from me, it'll say to me, you'll be able to do that every night. That will work again and again and again. And many of you know that feeling. It never ends. So I guess the most important thing is don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep at it. Keep at it. It's a craft that you're working at, and you need to work it to get really good. And it does take time. It does take a long while. So don't be discouraged.
Wow. And I am absolutely empowered listening to this, and this should empower us in the collaboration, the hilarious hope, that art of joy. What is something that's often spoke about. Listen to what he is saying when he still finds that spark and he still finds his gym after doing it for some time, then it just reinvigorates him all over again. This is what we have to look forward to in entertainment and being a creator. And I see that even on your webpage, the terminology master creator, right? Am I saying that correct?
Master of creativity.
Of creativity.
Yes,
I'm so sorry. Where does this phraseology get coined at?
After 40 years, I realized I've been doing this for 40 years, and I didn't know anybody else. I only knew one other person who had done it for 40 years. His name was Ken Davis. He had done it for a couple of years more than me. And I thought, how have I done this? How have I been able to be self-employed and do this so well and successfully all these years? And I realized I've been engaged in creativity. And then I started thinking, well, what is that? And so I reverse engineered it, and I realized that I had been grabbing, continually grabbing, I mean every day, things that grab me emotionally. So you grab. And by grab, I mean you speak them into your phone, or you write them down. I used to write them down. Now I speak them in my phone.
Yeah.
So then you have a list. And every day, every other day, every 3 days at the most, you go back and you look at that list. And some of those things keep jumping out at you. Why do you still make me smile? Why do you still make me angry? Why do you still make me wonder? All these emotions little things you wrote down. Yeah. And you interrogate it. So you grab what grabs you, you interrogate it. The interrogation brings you to the truth. That's what an interrogator does, tries to find the truth. So you try to find the truth of that. What you're grabbing are thoughts. They're not ideas. Sometimes they are, if you're lucky, but often they're just thoughts. You can't act upon a thought. But if you interrogate it, there's an exciting moment, and every creative knows this, when a thought becomes an idea. And then it's like, oh man, I know what I can do. I know what I can do with this now. And then once it becomes an idea, you can transform it into what you want it to be. It's an acronym, GIT. I say this is how you can get your masters of creativity.
So come on.
You grab, you interrogate, you transform. So, and I put together a course on that, which is at my website.
Mention that.
Yeah, well, it's called Mastering the Craft of Creativity. I had for a couple of years been selling this course. Now listen, I know this sounds absurd, but I've been selling it at $600, and people have been buying it. Well, then these masters courses came out with Steve Martin and Ron Howard and directors and all these people. They're all $99. Wow. And I realized I can't compete with that. So if any of you are interested, don't buy it at the price that it says there, because in a month or two, or even sooner if you wanted to, I'm going to bring it right now to $100. So
we're getting together as a cohort, and we're doing it.
Absolutely.
That's how it's happening.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Wow, that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's going to help us continue to grow that experience. Not only in the Hilarious Hope realm or the Hilarious Hope collabo, but in your experience as a creator, not just comedians, but the musicians we worked with back home, and the MCs and the artists, the actual painters and designers that we worked with, dozens of you. Like, hear this out. We'd love to. I mean, let's get a cohort. Let's make it happen.
It's all the same. It's all the same process. Whether you're a speaker, it's great for writers. Yeah. But it's great for painters too. Wow. You know, painters, sculptors, whatever, any kind of creative, chefs. Yeah, it's great for that.
Honey, that's you. All right, that's you, and your group of chefs and all those that cook and cater. That's amazing. Wow, this is an absolute privilege. We're gonna get ready to be going on stage tonight. We're at a comedy cafe here in Iowa, and it is such a privilege. And you know, I'm a grown man. All right, and I'm having my little moment right now, you know. Just keeping it real, all right? This is great. And everybody always says, Dre, you're the hardest working dude, I know, but I think it's by God's grace. It's creative energy, and it's the desire to continue to open up doors for all of us, because that city is great, and as God continues to call you to the road, I think this is a gentleman that has mastered it. And closing remarks. Obviously, you've been around the nation, you have your own projects, website, your own classes. I mean, what's next for you?
Well, let me just say this: what's next for all of you? You were made to create. That you were that it's woven into your genes.
Do you feel that?
That's what you're made. You were made in the image of a creator. So we're made to create. And if you're creating, you're going to experience something special, something exciting, something fun. We all started creating when we were little children, by the way. It was called play. That's what we
Yeah.
did. All of our play was creative, every bit of it. And when we create as adults, we feel that same fun, that same play in our spirits. We're made for that, so you need to do that.
This is awesome. And if you have not connected with him on social media,
please do.
before you get this video, how do we get a hold of you on social media, website? Tell us how
I'm
to
at
do that.
bobstromberg.com, just the way it sounds. If you Google it, you'll find it right away. There's lots of videos, lots of stuff you could watch there, lots of fun things. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook at the same name. So it's easy.
And you'll see all the links underneath this video. Of course, you're looking at them right now. This is absolutely a privilege. I've never had a chance to do an interview like this, so this is just good. I interview
Well,
people, but not like this.
You
This
did
is
it
great.
well.
Come on.
This
come
guy's
on.
good. This guy's good at what he does here.
Man, God, this is a legend, and it feels very fatherly right now, and I'm just super excited. So peace out. Thanks for tuning in. Go check him out on social media. Let him know you've seen this interview, and I dare you to ask him questions and just look for feedback. That's the way that we do it. So continue to dig, investigate, interrogate, get the truth, because that's what continues to set us free, make us free, set us free to be creators.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been part of anything I put together, that's why I tell you, create. Carry that joy before you. Go create out of that joy, out of that desire, out of that calling. So, peace.